we're going to start looking at decimals. We're going to go through the basics of decimals before we do anything. However, when it comes to decimals, we've already done some things with decimals, like money is in decimals. That's probably one of the best examples. But we're going to look at what else decimals can tell us. So the biggest thing the decimals tell us is an exact number. So if something weighs 240 pounds, which we saw in Mr. Boyd's class that I weigh 240 pounds, embarrassingly enough, 240 pounds is not an exact weight. I mean, there are more numbers out there than just the whole number 240 pounds. So perhaps I weigh 240 pounds and a half, which would be 240 pounds 0.50, or just 0.5. Or I may weigh 240 pounds and a little bit extra, maybe 0.23. So I would weigh 240.23 pounds. So we're just going to look at the basics of the way decimals are constructed. Hang on just a minute. Okay, I thought somebody was beeping in. Alright, so let's look at some basics when it comes to decimals. Alright, so first of all, how do we say a decimal? So the best example of a decimal is seen in money. We all know that. So let's say we have $23.45. So the way we say this, we say $23.45. That decimal indicates an and. So if you watched my last video on addition with place value, I gave a little insight into the importance of the word and why we use it or don't use it. So we're going to look at that more today. So now that we have the terminology down, let's look at different examples and find place value behind the decimal, which I believe in my place value videos, we've already looked at that. However, I do believe that it's important to revisit that. So in most money, we have two decimal places. So let's say we have 25 cents. $0.25. Or, let's see if I still have it. Not in that pocket. Maybe in this pocket. Or one of these. BAM! Quarter. 25 cents. What can we get for 25 cents? Not much. Okay, so we've got 25 cents. So that means that this is 25 out of 100 cents. Because 100 cents or 100 pennies is $1. Alright, so we've got the basics there. The one thing about this setup that I don't really like. Okay, so let's look at different decimal values and don't think of them as money for a little bit. So if we have 0.7, we've only got one number behind the decimal. 0.7. So that first number is the 10th place. 10th. That doesn't look like anything. That's 0.7. It's in the 10th place. Now, the thing about 0.7 and it being in the 10th place, this is really cool. We can add as many zeros as we want, and it's not going to change the value at all. So you can add 4 zeros like I did, or rather it kind of looks like 3, and some weird half crescent or something. But point being, you can add as many zeros as you want and it won't change the value. In fact, you'll see that in science. You'll see that in science in middle school quite frequently. I participated in some 8th grade science classes when I taught middle school. Actually, I taught science last year, but I taught 6th grade science. But I participated in some 8th grade science classes, and they use the zeros behind the decimal, and they're called insignificant figures. But you don't need to know that. Okay, so we've got the 7 in the 10th. Let me write 10th. 10th. Okay, so then we're going to go to the next place, and we're going to put a 4. So this is 0.74. And the 4 is in the 100th. 100th. Alright. So we got the 7 in the 10th place and the 4 in the 100th place. So let's add another number. What the heck? It's my video. Yeah. So let's add a 6. The 6, I'm going to go down here because I don't have room, is in the 1000th. The 1000th place. 1000th. So, why is that important? Okay, I'm going to show you why that's important. So, when you go to a gas station, and this is a little known fact, most people aren't going to tell you this, but they told me this when I was in business school. So when you go to a gas station, and gas is like 1.60, which is just 160 a gallon. However, and this is very important, they have that little 9 over it. So really and truly what you have is 1.609. Now, why is that important? Right here. Very important. Opened my eyes. Changed my life. You're going to love it. Tell your parents. They'll really love it. So, if you remember our rounding rules, five and up, you're going to round to the next number. So, while this says 1.609 or 160, what you're really paying, because we rounded that zero up, is 1.61 or 161. Tricky. I know. I was surprised when I heard about it too. But I just thought I'd share that bit of knowledge with you. That's why the thousandths place is important. Now, you're going to hear about numbers to the hundredths place a lot. And you're usually going to stop in the hundredths place, at least in elementary school. But once you get to middle and definitely high school, and then beyond, if you choose to go beyond, you're going to hear about the thousandths, 10,000ths, so on and so on. I'm telling you guys, numbers go on forever. But just to share that little bit of knowledge with you. So, what does this mean? Why is it called 7/10? Well, I'm going to show you why it's called 7/10. Because this is 7 out of 10. You see that? So under 0.7, I put 7 out of 10. Because that's what it literally means. And then under the 4, I'm going to put 4 well, no. Don't listen to me. I take that back. This would be 4 out of 100 if we didn't have the 7 there. If we had a 0 there, it would be 4 out of 100. But since we have the 7 in front of it, now we have 74 out of 100. 74 out of 100. And for you math nerds like me, you might want to reduce this fraction. Don't do that. You don't need to. Not in this case. In this case, you leave it how it is. Just the rules. So, we've got one last digit that we worked with. The 6. The 6 is in the thousandth place. So, we've got a 7, we've got a 4, and we've got a 6. And we put all that over 1,000. And once again, for you math people, I love you. I feel you. But please, you don't need to reduce this. You just leave it how it is. Relax. It's okay. You don't need to reduce this. It's fine how it is. Just like you are fine how you are. So, until next time, guys, it's Mr. B. I'll see you later. Peace.